All right, guys, welcome to the show. Got an exciting one here for you. We are simulating the first 3 rounds of a fantasy football draft, a mock draft here, talking about the players we like in the first 3 rounds, why you should draft them, going over the guys to avoid, pretty much simulating 16-round drafts, which to a degree, we're doing a bit of a mock draft, but we're doing it in a very special way. We are using the 16-round plus draft tool app. You're going to absolutely dive into this with us right now, see how exciting this app is and see how informative it is as well. So I'm excited to dive into this. I've got Jimmy, aka the Maverick, the king of fantasy, and I'm excited to dive into this. Do you like that title? I keep adding a new title to you every episode. What do you think?
Just keep doing it, man. It makes me feel great in the morning. Awesome.
A little bit of an ego boost here. So
there you go. It's a nice way to start the day.
Yeah, so I'm the brawn here. He's the brains of the operation. He's created the app. So we're going to open up the app. We're going to pull it up here for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you some of the recommended players from 16 rounds on who to draft in the first round, second round, and third round. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about some players to avoid. And Jim, I'm excited to dive in. So let's just get right to it. I'm going to go into present mode here, right here, and show everybody what we're talking about here. I'm going to pull this up. So Jim, do you want to go ahead and explain what we're doing here?
Yeah. So first of all, to get this app set up properly for your draft, it is the easiest process in the world. It is answering 3 questions, and it will load up and break down your top 250 list based on the size of your league and your draft position. So the first question you need to answer is, how does your league score points? And we're going to go with the half point PPR. That's the most common format for fantasy football. The second one is, do you only want to look at the counselor's players, his recommended players from 16 rounds?
Yes.
We want to see all the players. We want to see all the players today because we're going to look at the good and the bad.
So we say no now. As of right now, we say no, but typically you'll want to say yes.
yeah. It takes all the duds off the draft board. The third question is do you want to enter draft mode, which this is the part that breaks it down. So you put in the size of your league. We're going to do 12-team league. And we're going to look at each individual round separately. So I want you to select don't know for the draft position. But if you're picking first in a 12-team league, what it's going to do is the first round is going to show you all the first 24 players because that's your first pick. And then your second pick is at pick 24. That's when you would see the next 24 players. So it breaks it down, customized for how you are picking in the draft.
Now I just want to add here, guys, this is totally customizable. Stick with us. We're going to tell you all the optimal players drafted in each of the first 3 rounds. We're just showing you how this app starts. So again, totally customizable to your league. If you're half point, 1 point PPR standard, what position you're drafting for, it'll give you all the optimal players and how you should draft them based on ADP. And well, Jim explains it a little bit better. Let's keep going.
Yeah, and so also along with the standard points, half point PPR, full point PPR, we also have a best ball mode, which has its own customized rankings, and we also have a tight end premium league where the tight ends earn 1.5 points per reception. That's for like high stakes leagues. If you dabble in those sort of tournaments, great resource for both those things.
So now we're going to be in round 1 here. You're going to see the layout of all the players here.
Yeah, and so what we're looking at is literally just the top 12 players. It's just taking the top 12 players, but instead of sorting them by their draft position, which is what everybody does, we instead have scored all the players according to the Cuddy system. Cuddy stands for consistency, upside, durability, depth chart, and youth. And based on how they do on these criteria, they earn points. Those points are added up. That's the Cuddy score. And when you're in draft mode, it sorts players by the Cuddy score, highest score on top. So it makes it super easy to find the absolute best player in each and every round of your draft, as well as giving you options if that top player somehow gets sniped from you. So
for example here, Christian McCaffrey's typically a first overall pick everywhere, right? Yes. So we've got him here, and we're warning you that it's a possible regression year. And he scores a 3 out of 5 on the Cuddy score here. So even if what happens here, Jim, when you click on the player, you want to explain what's happening. You get all this extra information about them. You get notes about the player. You get stats about the player. So you can have this open during your draft to give you that extra perk, that additional information that the 16 round draft solution doesn't have. 16 round will give you all the optimal players to draft. It's everything you need. This is a great compliment if you just want more. It's amazing.
Right. And Christian McCaffrey, on the far left side is his Cuddy score. He only scores 36 Cuddy points. And so he's got a little yellow triangle around his number. And what that means is that's a risky player. That's a risky pick. Frankly, you want players with a higher score than that. The Cuddy score does go up to 100, although I do have to say that it is very, very difficult for a player to earn 100 Cuddy points because we subtract Cuddy points if they score terribly in one of those Cuddy criteria. For instance, if they are a low durability player or a low consistency player, they actually get negative Cuddy points for that segment of their score, and that really brings them down. And it's part of what causes this player list to sort in what I consider a more optimal pattern. So,
Jim, I remember years when I was starting this, I always used to get criticized. Joe, give me data, give me stats, give me analytics. This is going light years ahead because everybody is basically giving you stats on last year, copy and paste, and they're ranking them in the order of last year. We've gone ahead and gone up and above that and really broken it down for you, projecting things, looking at contract years and adding, emojis and logos by people that are in regression years or, contract candidates. Everything is here for you guys. I mean, it's laid out pretty easy for you guys to follow.
Yeah, and so you can see these those little icons next to the player names that identifies important things about the player. If it has that little lion face next to their name, guess what? That's a 16 rounds player right there. Those are the guys that we very much like. You'll also see there are boxes with the number. It says number 1. That means they are the number 1 receiver on that team. That's what that's for. And if you scroll down a little bit, scroll down to Jonathan Taylor. You can see he's got a little $ next to his name. What does that $ mean? That means it is a contract year for Jonathan Taylor. This is his contract is over at the end of 2023. So guess what? That guy is playing for his career right now. He is playing for that big money extension, which hopefully he will get. And I love contract year players. I'm always excited about the upside that contract year players provide. So that is marked on the list.
That's great. I love all these features. Let's talk, you and I, based on the app, based on the 16 round draft solution. Who are some players that you really like round 1? Round 1 is coming. Mock draft is happening. Who are we drafting round 1? Who do you like? I'll go over who I like. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about some players we want to avoid and why. Let's talk round 1. Let's break down round 1 for a mock draft.
Yeah, sure. So the number 1 highest scoring Cuddy player in the first round is Bijan Robinson, and he is number 1 across all the different formats, even in PPR right now. So you can see that he scores 80 Cuddy points. That's more than anybody else. Obviously, tremendous upside on this team. This run-first team ran the ball more than any other team in the NFL last year, 559 attempts. He is golden for at least 300 touches and probably at least 60 targets, but his upside is over 400 opportunities with the ball this year. I mean, it is tremendous. It is a tremendously good starting point. And I got to say, people are realizing this because right now his expected draft position is 4th overall. He is going inside the top 5 at this point. So a couple of weeks ago, he was in the top 8. So people are understanding the upside that Bijan offers. But we're just sitting here to tell you, yes, Bijan is number 1. Bijan is the number 1.
I like him. I love the upside. Now, typically, I don't really take a rookie that early. I remember Clyde Edwards-Helaire, everybody was there, and I was telling you, I don't trust Helaire on that offense. But I really think Bijan, based on talent and opportunity, is in a prime position. As you can see, I'm sporting the Atlanta Falcons hat here. I'm excited about him. I'm also excited about Jonathan Taylor in that contract year, as we kind of highlighted here in the app. And of course, if you're looking at wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase score very high Cuddy scores as well. Let me pull that up here for you.
Yeah, Jamar Chase ranks out as the #1 wide receiver you can take in the first round, and I just even though the dude does have some durability issues because he has missed time, his upside is so tremendous. I mean, it's literally if Jamar Chase can play a full 17 games this year, 2,000 yards. It's going to be 2,000 yards,
He's
and
great.
obviously 10 plus touchdowns. He's going to be so outstanding. It's very exciting.
And the nice thing is you can pull this information on the fly. So you've got your draft going, you've got your real draft going. You pull this app, go up here. You click on Jamar. I'm thinking about Jamar Chase here, round one. Let's make a decision. You pull up your stats, and here's the cool thing here. It tells you how many seasons he's in the league, seasons on the team, seasons with head coach, has all this extra information to help you make an executive decision. And also the Cuddy score. He scores a very high Cuddy score. You could take a look at his value, right? You can take a look at his upside, his durability, his consistency. We've got it score. So it says here durability 10. What is that out of, though? Is that just 10 points? Like, how do you rank this? Is it out of 10, or how do you explain this?
Oh, which one are you looking at? Oh, I think you're looking at, is that week 10? Are you looking at the far right side there?
Oh, I don't know if you can see
where
what
you seeing.
so
You're showing the points.
Cuddy
You're showing
score.
the points. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you hover over the Cuddy score number, it breaks it down like where are they scoring points. So in Jamar's case, he scored 16 points for his value. He scores 30 points on his upside because he got a 5 out of 5 on the upside. 10 out of 20 for durability. So, again, that's because he has a mid durability, and its consistency, 9 out of 10. He scores 20 points there. So that's the breakdown. That's how he scores the 76 points. And so you could see, although he also scores very well, not quite as much as Bijan. Bijan gets 80. And then right below Jamar is Justin Jefferson right on his heels with 74 Cuddy points.
Okay, so I'm asking you as the algorithm, how do you come up with these numbers? Like, is it based on stats? You calculate, the algorithm calculates all this. Can you kind of explain in a nutshell how these numbers are accumulated?
Well, value is calculated against their draft position. So where their EDP is, it calculates, you've already put in how your league scores points. We have their projected stats in the system. It just multiplies that together, gives you the projected points, which you'll see on the player list right next to the player's name to the right. You'll see his projected fantasy points for the upcoming year. For Jamar Chase, it's 265 points. And so because of that, his value rating is good. He's a good value at his draft position in the first round, which is normally you don't see that a whole lot. Most people are fair value in the first round. But so that score, and if you want to see the breakdown, you just click on Jamar's name, and on the Cuddy tab, it shows you how he scored those points. So you can see his
so basically there's a lot of math, a lot of information. I'm just an overview, kind of how you're coming up with these numbers. You're not just saying he gets a 10 because he's a good looking guy or whatever. He gets a 10 because there's so many variables here that accumulate to give you that percentage. So a lot of it is what's that?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's one of the things is because the Cuddy system has all these different points, there's different ways for players to earn points. And then also if they score poorly on one, it's going to hurt other ratings. It's going to bring down other ratings. Well, Jamar doesn't score poorly on anything, right? I mean, his lowest scoring thing is his durability because he's missed time. But, he makes up for it with the consistency and the upside being about as high as you can get. And he's a good value. So overall, he is, he's an excellent choice. If you're in the draft and Bijan is gone, you're picking maybe 5th or 6th, and Jamar's still on there, I'd say take Jamar. He's a good choice.
Okay. So round one, I like Bijan. I like Jamar. I like Jefferson. Jefferson, if I'm going wide receiver. Saquon, he's here. He's got, 3 stars. Again, have we factored in that there's a contract still in play here and he may be sitting?
That's why he's there. That's why he only scores 60. If this contract thing gets resolved, his upside jumps to 5 stars and he jumps up into the top 2. That's essentially what's going to happen. But for right now, he's suppressed on his Cuddy score until that gets resolved because he is a riskier pick, and that's the whole thing. Like, I'm not going to touch Saquon Barkley until that contract thing gets resolved. But once it gets resolved, I'm like, dude, I'm totally taking Saquon.
And we're
He's a
gonna
great choice.
And we're going to update this. This gets updated up until the season starts. Okay. So, and as
Yes.
you can see
Yes.
here, Austin Eckler, he's on a regression year. Obviously, we factor in, there's so many factors in the score. Joe Lombardi is no longer there. Less checkdowns. They gotten Quentin Johnston here. I just found out today, breaking news, say, Eckler's only getting, I think, an additional $2 million per this last year. And then he's a free agent after this year. So he's getting an additional $2 million on his, I think, existing salary, something like that. He's not getting much. You're just basically throwing him a bone and saying, we don't really want to sign you. We're going to do one more year with you, but barely. So I'm wondering if that's going to fire him up or piss him off. I'm just curious. What do you think of that? They're not really signing him on here, Jim.
I'm not surprised that they are not signing him to a long-term extension. The dude's 28. He's 28 years old. That is the end of the line for most running backs. And that's one of the things, if you look at why is his score so low, why is he at the bottom of this list? Well, it's because he has no upside. The dude has no upside because he's a 28-year-old running back. And you've already mentioned the situation where he's not going to get as many passes this year because of the addition of Quentin Johnson. It's a big regression risk for him. And frankly, I think his yards per carry, we projected his yards per carry to drop below 4 yards per carry. So he values as a poor choice here. And so, again, he's got the red stop sign around his work score. Do not draft. Don't draft Austin Eckler. Way too high a risk. And he's not going to be worth the pick for sure. Where you got to take him? He's going third overall. His expected draft position is third overall.
And you've got him here, which makes sense. He lacks the upside, -20 for upside, because he doesn't have any. The team doesn't even want to pay him. He already had a pinnacle year last year. And this is what I tell people. So now you can kind of see how we construct this, how we come up with this. And again, you've got all this extra data here. Taylor contract year, counselor recommended pick. Is he coming back on a bounce back type of year? You got that arrow. So there's first round for you guys. Take a look. Those are your players. You're getting a sneak peek into the draft and inside information here. So let's go to round 2 here, Jim. So we're in round 2. Do you want to explain round 2? And we're going to start seeing some medical signs come up here with Breece Hall. I see here. Love the upside, right? Good on upside. But again, you got this medical thing here, this hospital sign, Jim. Can you explain that?
That is an injury issue. He is recovering from that ACL tear. And, again, before I would draft Breece Hall, I need to see him full participant. I would need to see him taking contact. I want to see him in the preseason, at least in a series or two, and full participant in the practices once training camp opens. So he is, again, just like Saquon, he's suppressed on the draft list. He is currently listed as a risky pick, right? He's got the yellow triangle around, the yellow triangle around him. Just saying, you know what? There is risk associated with this pick. You might want to look elsewhere. And
I love this.
And this is kind of the nice thing about having the players sorted by the Cuddy score is you just want to focus on the guys at the top of the list. Just focus on the top and don't even worry about the bottom listed players. These guys are already off your radar because they're not even showing there. It's showing you who the best players are in this round. And
that being said, I'm a risk taker. And as you can see, there's a line here. Do not be afraid to take Breece, but make sure you have him balanced out. So maybe you went Bijan round 1. Round 2, you want to get another running back. You're okay with taking a risk. You look at his Cuddy score here and you're like, oh my God, this is interesting. I'm going to bank on upside. See how there's a 30 upside, but his durability is an issue. Okay. But you may be aware of this, but you're actually seeing it in front of you. That information's in front of you. You can see all this. Counselor recommends him. He's going to bounce back here, but then again, is that risk worth it? If so, you got to make sure you have a backup plan. So again, it's addressing the risk and being aware.
Right. So and if you look at the other running backs in the second round, there are better options, right? Najee Harris. I mean, would you rather have Najee Harris or Breece Hall? I think, frankly, the Cuddy score is telling me Najee's a better choice. And, we're talking workhorse, similar consistency and usage in the offense, in an offense that will be better this year. Pittsburgh's going to be a better offense. I think he's a great choice. Ramondre Stevenson scores more than him. And Derrick Henry. All 3 of those guys score more than Breece Hall right now. Now, once Breece Hall loses that injury tag, He'll rank better in the system, but he's still risky because of his durability, right? He only played, what did he play, 7 games last year? I mean, that's a concern.
Now, Derrick
And
Henry can come off in round one. You may see it in your league where these guys go on this running back sprint. So there's a probability, Jim, though, that Derrick Henry does in fact come off round one, correct?
well, yes, but right now his expected draft position is 14. So
Okay.
early second is
Yes.
where he's going right now. I haven't seen any drafts yet where I've seen him come off in the first.
No, it makes sense. So as you can see here, guys, EDP 14, it makes sense when you're looking at refactoring all of the players. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going here. So who do you like here, round two? I love Najee. If you want upside, go Brees Hall. And again, it depends on what you do round one. And also the wide receivers. Let's go through wide receivers I like in this round. I do like Amon-Ra St. Brown here. I feel really safe with him. And if you want a little more upside, you go Garrett Wilson. You want some security, you go AJ Brown. All good options. As you can see here, I've got Lions here. I don't have a Lion here and a recommendation for Devontae Adams. I don't like to downgrade at quarterback. Obviously, Adams coming off a pinnacle year. I have my question marks about Devontae Adams this year in that offense. So that's why you can see here, and he coming off a pinnacle year. There's a possible regression candidate here, and it's highlighted here, all in details. Jim, I love this app, man. I can't express to you how much I love this app.
Yeah, and let's not forget the number one rated wide receiver on this round, which is CeeDee Lamb, who is on a contract year. That's what I love. I love the contract year players. Amon-Ra also on a contract year. Both those guys. That's why they're my two favorite. That's why they rank as the two best wide receivers for the second round, is because of that contract year upside.
All
You
this is in
gotta.
front of you. It's all right in front
Yeah.
of you guys. It's all right there. You get all that extra information that your league mates don't have. It's phenomenal.
Right. And one of the nice things about this app is it is accessible from any web connected device. You access it on your browser. So you just go to 16roundsplus.com. You can pull it up, and this list also, we're looking at it in a very wide mode right now, but you can compress it down to basically portrait width for your phone, and it just compresses everything down, but you can still see all the information there. You can run it on your phone while you're running your draft, or even just put it on the side of your screen. It'll only take up about a third of your computer screen. You can have your draft board open on the other part, and it works very well both ways.
I got a very wide screen here, so guys, this is why you're seeing it like this. But it's very mobile friendly if you want to pull it up there. So, and here's another cool thing. There's some common sense factored in here, Jim, which I really love. So let's just say I'm new to fantasy and I want to draft a defense in round two. There's no
don't do this.
You shouldn't do that. Don't do that. What about a tight end? Don't do that, right?
Yeah,
so we really give you guys there's some common sense factored in here as well. So let's go to round three here. Sorry, go ahead, Jim.
And one of the other things you could do is, if you want to find out when defenses are going off, let's say you've got a favorite. Let's say you want to draft Buffalo. When do you need to draft Buffalo? Well, you hit that defense filter and then just go up on the rounds and find out what round that Buffalo is going off the board. And so you just follow it up. You just go to what round is it on?
Now coming off round 12.
There you go. Yeah. That's when you need to take Buffalo if you want Buffalo.
Look at the convenience. Jim is you guys should all commend Jim for his mastermind here. This is amazing stuff. All right, let's go back to round three here.
Round three. All right.
Round three. So no, don't take any defense round three, as you can see here. Some quarterback options. I'm looking at securing a quarterback in round three this year, Jim. I'm tempted, although the more and more we get close to the season, the more and more I'm kind of tempted, maybe going either Josh Allen or Hurts here, something like that, or maybe waiting for a Trevor Lawrence or Herbert. I think they have amazing years this year, guys, with Allen and Hurts. So again, both good options here. What do you think here, round three? Are you going a quarterback? Are you looking at running backs? I love Gibbs here, round three as well, a recommendation. And you're going to get all this in the 60-round draft solution as well. All the optimal players drafted each round. You're going to know which the Lion players are, but you're getting so much more here with the value add with 60-round plus. Go ahead, Jim.
Right, absolutely. And so, yeah, I mean, if you want one of the elite, one of the top three quarterbacks, which is Mahomes, Hurts, or Allen, guess what? This is the round you really need to take them. Round three is when they're going to go. And in the app, if you are picking late, let's say you've got the 11th pick, right? So you're picking late in you've got a early second, but a late third round pick. Guess what? The app is going to tell you that, oh boy, if you want one of these top three quarterbacks, you're going to need to take them in the second round. because you don't want to miss. That's the thing. You don't want to miss. Josh Allen's ADP is 29. Jalen Hurts is 31. Patrick Mahomes is 33. Those guys aren't even going to make it to the end of the third round. So it's going to tell you that, oh, in this case, if you want this player, you got to take him here. Don't wait, because if you wait, you're probably going to miss. So that's important to know as well.
All right, so some recommendations. I like Allen here in the third. I went to the fourth by accident here. Running backs, I do like Jamar Gibbs. Kenneth Walker, he's actually slipped down to the third round, which is awesome. It's just that Charbonnet acquisition. I like the downward trend, possibly. Obviously, Zach is a workhorse in his own right. Aaron Jones, regression candidate, new quarterback, all factored in, guys. All these variables are factored in. T. Higgins contract year, but warning. What's the warning with him, really? I think it's just he's a wide receiver too. For me, I think he's way too expensive. But again, that's where he's going. He's just coming off in around round 3, which is ludicrous. And as you can see, he's not a 16-round recommendation.
Yeah, he is a risky pick. He only scores 28 Cuddy points, and the big issue with T. Higgins is his consistency rating. If you look at his consistency rating, 2 out of 10. He's the lowest. He's the least consistent player in the top 60, and so you really want to stay away from those guys if you are in season-long fantasy football. You don't want a player like T. Higgins who can disappear in games. That's the worst thing to happen with your third-round pick. You want consistent players, and why would you ever take T. Higgins over someone like Chris Olave, who is the top-ranked wide receiver in this round?
More
he
upside.
is, again, 70 Cuddy points for Chris Olave, 28 for T. Higgins. It's not even close. Take Chris Olave. The upside is huge for that guy. So
this is literally next level stuff. I mean, I've been at this, a long time. Nobody's doing this. Nobody's taking this much time and effort to put it into this. This is like next level stuff. So, I mean, this is available to you guys, 16 round plus. I mean, wanted to walk through the app today, give you a brief overview, give you some players and recommendations through round. This is a huge glimpse. Whereas everybody's telling you draft on ADP, go T. Higgins round 3, go Austin Eckler first overall pick, or, second overall pick, Eckler CMC. These are the same people that lied to you last year and told you Jonathan Taylor first overall. They're coming off the pinnacle year. There's no way he's going to duplicate that. And I said there's going to be a regression. Obviously, Captain Obvious is a regression. Yes, but enough so that's going to push him out of that first overall contention. Same with Cooper Kupp last year. I called a decline there. Guys, we think outside the box. We project to where it's going to be, not to where it is, guys. Project forward. Wayne Gretzky said that, right? Skate to where the puck is going to be, not just where the puck is. Project it. Where is it going to ricochet? It's going to end up over there. Skate in that direction. Be light years ahead. Tennis players, they anticipate the ball, the serve. The speed that those serves come, you got to kind of anticipate by the shoulder motion of the way the serve is coming, where that ball is going to land. Because sometimes at the speed, there's no way you're gonna know, right? You're gonna get to it fast enough. So you got to anticipate. The app does that. 60-round draft solution does that. This podcast does that. That's what we're here for. Jim, do you want to say anything else about this app? To hammer home the points here.
Yeah, and it's totally going to change how you run your drafts. It's going to make drafts are often very stressful. You got that clock, you got the countdown. You don't know how much time you're going to have between picks. This app is going to allow you to strategize and know when do you need to target certain players. Your favorite players. You're going to know exactly what round you need to target them in, and you hardly ever get sniped using this app. I mean, it still happens occasionally. You can't completely eliminate sniping, but it is going to absolutely help you crush your draft, and it's going to make the experience so comfortable and secure. You're going to feel so good about your drafts when you're done with them, because you already know, in the third round, if Chris Olave gets sniped on me, who do I take? Oh, well, look, here's Jahmyr Gibbs, Josh Allen, Jalen Waddle. They all score very well. So I'll grab one of them instead, and so it helps to avoid those issues where you're in a panic and you're just trying to figure out, you just choose someone with 1 second left on your clock, out of anger, basically, because you're so mad that somebody took your guy right before your pick. It avoids that situation. And again, you'll know when you need to draft players. You'll know when you need to target them. And it just makes the whole experience 100 times better.
Another thing, just before we let you go here. So round 3 here, let's just say all the running backs are gone. Jamar Gibbs gets sniped. Kenneth, okay, so you got an option. You can look forward to round 4 and say, okay, Dameon Pierce, he's got a good score here. I can grab, I could just peek ahead to round 4, who's going to be coming off in round 4 and grab them around earlier. So it's not like you're fixed to this. There's some flexibility and some nimbleness here that you can look ahead and know that Dameon Pierce is primed to come off round 4, maybe even late round 3. And then if these 3 are gone, and I don't even like Aaron Jones anyway, then I may just take, Dameon Pierce ahead of Aaron Jones here. It just makes more sense. So again, it's thinking outside the box, having that ability and those resources ahead of you to see and project ahead and see ahead, which is really nice.
Yeah, and one other thing is when you're in a regular draft mode with where you've chosen your draft position, it's going to also show you long shots and reaches. So the long shots are the players that have less than a 50-50 shot of making it to you. It's like you're picking 20. This guy's coming off 18. So he'll be on your list, but he's going to have this little gun next to his name. And that just shows you he's a long shot. Likewise, there's players that you might want to take a round early, but it's going to show a little reach, which is 2 hands in the air like this. And that means if you really want him, you could take him this round. But if you're willing to gamble, if you're willing to maybe miss on them, they have a good chance of making it to the next round. So, you can, it also kind of helps kind of sort that out as well. So you could see those guys right on the fringes of your picks. As far as will this guy make it to the last round, or does this guy even have a chance to make it to my next pick? So, that's also very important.
Very important to have that shotgun and the reach ability to see if these players are reaches in certain rounds. Very good information additionally to everything else that's here. So 16roundplus.com or just go to thefantasyfootballaccounts.com under programs. Go order right now, guys. Get in. The draft is available, ready to go, right, Jim? Ready to go.
That is right. It is all set up. It's ready to go for the 2023 season. It's going to be continuously updated from now through the first game of the NFL season, which is like in September. So I worked very hard in maintaining the app and making sure it's up to date and you have all the latest information that you need. So.
All right, guys, there's your first 3 rounds. Who to draft in the first 3 rounds, mini mock draft simulation, guys. And on the best app out there to get the proper information, the best information, winning information. All right. Make sure you guys grab
right.
Win. Smash thumbs up, guys. Jim, thanks for being here. We'll talk soon, guys. Content rolling to you daily. We're out.
All right. Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you.